Hey guys, it's Sim in this Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It means tonight was AEW Dynamite, and I'll say it was a good episode of Dynamite. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but we're how many weeks now from All In and All Out, and they built nothing towards both of those shows. We have how many more Dynamites? 1, 2, 3, 4? I want to say. When's All In? AEW All In.
All In is like a week before All Out.
Right. August 27th. Yeah. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 more AEW Dynamites. And they've told us nothing about All In. Now, we do know one match for All Out, and that's Darby Allin challenging for the TNT Championship. But other than that, we've got 2 big pay-per-view shows that they want us to pay $50 each for, and they still haven't told us what's on either show. Granted, All Out in Chicago, I think, is almost sold out already, with no matches announced or one match announced, and All In has sold over 75,000 or close to 75,000 tickets with no matches announced, so that's good for them. But still, build up to these shows. I don't need you building things for big episodes of Dynamite. Now, I get next week is the 200th episode of Dynamite. They've announced a couple of things for that show. I think 3 things in total. But start even just hinting at what we're going to get at All In Wembley. Hinting at what we're going to get at All Out in Chicago. Because I have no clue at all. Like, maybe at All In Wembley we get Adam Cole challenging MJF. Maybe at All Out in Chicago, it's CM Punk versus the world champion. I don't know. And with only 4 weeks left, they need to be telling us what we're getting on these shows. You've been hyping them up for 2 months, a month and a half. It's like AEW has, as of right now, big gaps between their big shows because they can slowly build storylines. They can slowly tease what they're going to do. But if they're really only going to take 3 weeks to set stuff up anyways, then they might as well be like WWE doing a pay-per-view every week because they rush shit all the time anyways. So it's like when AEW first started, their whole thing was 4 pay-per-views a year so we can slow build stories to the pay-per-view. But they don't slow build stories to the pay-per-view. They just rush things at the very end. So that's my thought on all of that. It's just different than what they said they were going to do. But Luke, what did you think of tonight's show?
Well, tonight's show was just okay, nothing great. Literally just felt like there's like no build to like All In or All Out. Especially with how well All In is doing in ticket sales, you would think they're going like really strong of like building stuff up for All In, but they're doing nothing. They're doing nothing as far as like building stuff up.
I mean, I don't want to speak for Tony Khan, but he may have that mentality of, well, we already sold all these tickets. What does it matter what's on the show? They're coming regardless. You know what I mean? And I don't want to speak for Tony Khan and say that's what he's thinking, but that's what it looks like. But regardless, with that, I want to say thank you guys for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, App Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember in the live chat, you can now put hype chats similar to super chats on YouTube, where your question, comment, or concern will get highlighted in the chat, and then we'll make sure to read them live on the air. Also, remember that you can subscribe to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. All you gotta do is take that Amazon Prime account, take that Twitch account, link them together, bada bing, bada boom, you're Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over to YouTube, hit that join button, and become a channel member. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use the code down here on the screen, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Again, use code PWUMLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases, and it only takes a second. Say you're claiming the free games. Right now, there's Murder by Numbers and the Elder Scrolls Online. I'll tell you exactly how long it takes to put this code in for both games. We're going to do a countdown really fast and see how long this takes and go. So you click get if you're on your computer. Oh, I'm not logged in. Never mind, this ain't going to work. I'll do it later. I was going to see how long it actually takes, but it only takes like 15, 20 seconds per game that you want to claim, and then you go on from there. Again, you can do this on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo, or your even mobile device, depending on what you're trying to get bucks for or buy. Also, remember, this podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Loot, but we'll talk about that later. As far as the show does go, the show opened up with Orange Cassidy defending the International Championship against AR Fox. Excalibur welcomes us alongside Tony Schiavone and Taz as they run down the events of the night. They send it to a video package about the history of Darby Allin and AR Fox. The advice that Fox gave to Allin is documented as Allin put over how Fox gave him a place to stay for free while he was training. Allin said if anyone deserves a shot at a title, it's AR Fox, as without him, there may not be a Darby Allin. As far as the match itself, good action-packed opener. Wouldn't call it a great match or anything, but I'd say it was pretty good and a good way to start off the show. So, interestingly, they said that this is AR Fox's 6th title match in AEW. He's been unsuccessful in all of them. I think 4 of those were for the trios titles with different teams. And then he challenged for the TNT Championship and now the International Championship. Also, this was Orange Cassidy's 27th defense of the title. Fox tried to keep Cassidy grounded early, but Cassidy responded with his hands in his pockets and some mind games and powder, only to eat a quick moonsault to the floor by AR Fox. Back inside the ring, Fox used his speed to hit a roll-through suplex, which Cassidy countered into a Stundog Millionaire. Fox answered by kicking out of the corner with a leaping cutter and twisting brainbuster for a near fall. Fox then stayed in control for the majority of the commercial break. Cassidy fought out of a third neck breaker, but Fox before trading some big boots to the face. Each man blocked cutter attempts before hitting a double neck breaker for the reset. Cassidy went up and over in the corner and repeatedly slammed Fox's head first into the turnbuckle. Fox then sent Cassidy to the outside and hit a huge moonsault dive and a senton back inside for a close 2. Cassidy countered low main pain into a dive on the outside and a spinning DDT back in the ring that led to a beach break, but Fox kicked out. Fox then blocked an orange punch, set up Cassidy in the corner for a low main pain, and got a near fall off of him. Cassidy then rolled to the apron. Fox was there and hit a rolling thunder and a DDT back on the inside of the ring. Fox did, though, miss a 450. He seemed to tweak his ankle, but then he came back later in the show, seemed fine, so I'll just say I think he's fine. Cassidy, this allowed Cassidy to wrench at it, the ankle that is, and then get a mousetrap to pick up the pin or the submission victory. So there we go. Orange Cassidy does win the match. And before we talk about the post-match stuff, which is very interesting, what do you think of the match itself?
The match was really fun. It was a perfect opener match to have, and it was, to be honest, it was a lot better than what I expected. I thought it was just gonna be a regular match where like Orange Cassidy would retain. Honestly, a fun match.
Yeah, because
I really enjoyed it.
And I can see where you can think that, because in his short time in AEW, we haven't seen much from AR Fox. A lot of his stuff has been in like trios matches and whatnot. So he's been kind of limited in his in-ring stuff. And if you haven't seen him outside of AEW, then I could see where you're like, oh, I'm not too sure on AR Fox. This may be good, may not be good. I can see that. Then after the match, Orange Cassidy kind of tries to praise AR Fox by putting sunglasses on him. But AR Fox didn't like that. He snapped the sunglasses in half and attacked Orange Cassidy. As AR Fox was leaving, Darby Allin would run down and get in his face saying, hey, what was that? That was disrespectful. Why would you do that? I put my name on the line for you, and you're going to act like that? You're going to treat the man that gave you a title shot like that? And every time AR Fox would try to walk away, Darby would get in his way and be like, no, I want an answer. Why'd you do that? That was disrespectful, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But Fox never gave Darby an answer. After all of that, Cassidy was trying to recover in the ring when, well, Jon Moxley would actually run in and lay out Orange Cassidy with a Death Rider. As Excalibur talked about, Cassidy getting involved at the end of the Claudio Pac match at Death Before Dishonor. Basically, if you guys didn't see it, it was Pac and Claudio. Orange Cassidy came down and got involved. He went to go for, I think it was the Orange Punch on Pac. Pac moved, he hit Claudio, and that's just throwing everything into disarray. What did you think of the post-match?
Honestly, starting to think they might be building towards Jon Moxley being Orange Cassidy's like next challenger for the belt.
Good chance.
And there's a good chance that Moxley is gonna win that belt, but that might be a little bit of a downgrade for him, if I'm completely honest.
So before, this is weird because I'll be honest. I only watched half of Death Before Dishonor, and then I had to leave. So I never watched the last 2 or 3 matches on the show. And so I didn't even know about the whole Orange Cassidy got involved in the world title match and this and that. So when Moxley just attacks Orange Cassidy, I was like, what the hell is this? Why? What's going on? Until eventually Excalibur explained it and they showed the footage and everything. So it's like, cool. I don't know. They always said that ROH stuff and AEW stuff is going to be kept separate, but this is intertwining everything. So, yeah. It's cool, I guess.
I get it, like...
Go for it.
I mean, I get it. Like, Claudio is still, like, a big part of, like, AEW, though, even though he's, like, the Ring of Honor World Champion. But what did Tony Khan say when he announced that Ring of Honor will be on, like, Honor Club and stuff? He said he's going to keep Ring of Honor stuff separate from AEW stuff, but
now
that's not the case.
He didn't say 100% separate. He just said more than not, ROH stuff will now stay on ROH since they have their own show and this and that. So yeah, I guess that's what, the trolls are going to come and go, oh, he didn't say fully. He didn't, because they've done it before. They've said it to me before, but good opening match. You haven't seen AR Fox before. He did work Lucha Underground. That's where a lot of people know him prior to this. So, yeah. We'll see where this all leads to, as this does all play into the main event of the night as well. So they opened the show with some of this, and they closed it. Go for it.
I'll say this about AR Fox, though. After Lucha Underground ended, I'm kind of shocked that no other wrestling company wanted to sign him. Like, I'm surprised it took him, like, this long to actually sign somewhere.
Right? I've been thinking the same thing, because I liked his work in Lucha Underground. Now I want to go look really fast. Like, where has he been working since Lucha Underground? I know he did. I know before they closed, he was working a lot for Evolve in like 2018, 2019. So I do know that. And he was doing a lot of stuff with Evolve. But as we look, when did Lucha Underground stop? That's a good question. When did they end Lucha Underground? Because
let's say 2018 is when it ended.
Let's look at that real fast. Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground ran from, you're right, final episode was November 7th, 2018. And he worked, during Lucha Underground. He was working a lot for like AAW, just a bunch of indies, Beyond Wrestling and stuff. But then after Lucha Underground, he did, like I said, a lot for Evolve. But over the last couple of years, because he did a lot for Evolve in 2017, 18, and 19. But then in 2020, didn't work too much. Had a couple. So 2020 didn't work too much. Maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, a dozen and a half matches. Only worked one GCW match in 2021. And then since then, he's worked 3 GCW matches and then AEW ROH. And a New Japan show. So really, since, Lucha Underground ended, he hasn't done a lot. I thought he's done a lot more. No, it's all Evolve, a couple FSPWs, 1 or 2 Beyond Wrestling. There's a match here for Impact. But yeah, he hasn't really been getting... He worked consistent in 2019, I will say that. But then since then, really since the pandemic hit, even before that, not a lot. So, yeah. I'd get it if people haven't seen his work.
Maybe he didn't want to work during the pandemic, though.
Maybe. But then even after, he didn't come back much until he got signed by AEW with Ring of Honor and stuff. But, hey, each their own, whatever. So I can see why a lot of people may have not seen him before, his AEW stuff. Because he's been around decade. I think he started in like 2010, 2009, late 2009 maybe. I know when he first started, he was doing a lot of CZW. Or a good amount of CZW. But with
Apollo Crews said it.
Go for it.
Apollo Crews said in an interview that his first ever opponent was AR Fox. So that's
really?
How long AR Fox has been around.
Hold on, now I gotta look that up. Apollo.
Sure, it was an interview with Ryan Satin, I believe.
Well, I just want to see when Apollo Crews started, because I never looked to see when he started wrestling.
It's been like a training match or something that
Apollo
said, like, yeah, that was my first ever match.
Let's see. Let's go to Apollo Crews' first match. So as far as his cage match does go, well, let me see. Hold on. Because that's not what cage match has. Let's see what he said. Yeah, because I don't see that on his cage match. His first match on cage match was just against someone named Big Nasty in PWA. So I don't know where he would have fought. Well, actually, let me see. AR Fox. It says his first AR Fox match was in AEW in 2011, so a year after he started. According to Cage Match. And Cage Match could be wrong, and maybe he knows better than Cage Match, I would say. If he knows, I mean, you're going to remember who your first opponent is. And maybe, like you said, that was a training match, and it wasn't actually on the record. So, as we move forward, Renee Paquette is backstage with Chris Jericho and Don Callis, who talked about fans wanting Jericho to be part of the Don Callis family. Callis said for Jericho to imagine a dream team with Konosuke Takeshita and himself, he'd be willing to give it a try. Callis said that their opponents would be Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara, as Callis said that Jericho wanted them to spread their wings, as Jericho reluctantly accepted. Callis commissioned a piece of art. It was the two of them from 1995 with Bad News Allin on there as well. So yeah, next week on Dynamite, it will be Konosuke Takeshita and Chris Jericho against Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. Very, very interesting matchup here. What do you think?
Basically determine like the fate of like Jericho Appreciation Society.
Right. And as
we stay loyal to Jericho, or is it done?
And as we see later, they're not happy with Chris Jericho.
Jericho said in the past, like, eventually you guys are going to have to leave my side and go your separate ways.
Right. So a brief Hook video, or a brief video of Hook walking and taking a seat at a subway is shown before the subway speeds past Hook, and then boom, he disappears, he's gone. Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta cut a PSA backstage telling kids not to play with fire or mess with the Blackpool Combat Club. Claudio said that the beating Pac suffered at Death Before Dishonor is nothing compared to what he'd get when he crossed paths with him again. John Moxley then walked in and gave a warning to both the Lucha Bros and Best Friends, said that they will pay for Pac's mistake. So then we go to the ring, and I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know what they're building to next week, because I thought it was a match, but then when they showed the graphic, it doesn't seem like it's a match. But Tony Schiavone introduces us to the new FTW champion, Jack Perry, which, again, I'm going to say it, music sucks. I hate the Beethoven's Fifth Symphony for him. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid. Did you see a fan went on and made a video where they put the 90210 theme music over his entrance instead of the Beethoven music?
I don't think I have, no.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's so much better. And it's so funny because, the whole gimmick is, he's Hollywood now. He's a big-time star. So, like, the music kind of fits. It wasn't great, but I liked it a lot better than the Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. That's just, I hear that music, and I see him walk out, and I'm just like, oh, this is dumb as hell. Like, this is stupid. So Schiavone got the crowd to start really booing Perry, who said after one loss, Hook realized he can't hang with the big boys. Also, he was wearing black and orange and had a shirt on that said, I beat Hook. The FTW title wasn't what Perry was talking about when he said that he would win gold in 2023, and said soon as he puts his hands on the title, it becomes a real deal. Basically saying, hey, fans have always said the FTW title's a joke, but now that I, Jack Perry, have it, it's not a joke anymore. Perry said that he's the best wrestler ever to hold the title and ran down Taz and his friends. This then brought out Jerry Lynn, of all people, who said ECW paved the way for this current generation. Without ECW, there never would have been a Jungle Boy, and told Perry to keep running his mouth, or he's going to get it kicked. Lynn then squared up, and Perry said, I'm not dressed to fight. You want to fight? Give me somebody to fight. And that's when Jerry Lynn made it feel like it was going to be him. And then instead of challenging Lynn to a match now or accepting him fight, he said, I'll just see you next week. So it seems like they were going to me, I thought they were building up to a match. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry Lynn hasn't worked a match in like 10 years. I think.
Why Jerry Lynn of all people? Like so random.
I don't know. Jerry Lynn's last match was, hold on. Jerry Lynn has not worked a match since, according to Cage Match, 2013. March 2013. And so I thought this was building to a match between the two next week on the show, but then I'm going to pull this up on the screen. We get this graphic. Get me, boom, which is very weird. Because if it was a match, and I'll pull this up here as well. Actually, let me just do it this way. So if we were getting a match per se, then the graphic would look more like this. Let me do this. So it would look more like this, where it's got a name, and it says versus in the middle. But this says Jack Perry face-to-face Jerry Lynn. So is it not a match? And they're just going to go face-to-face? Isn't that what they did tonight? Like, huh? I don't understand what this is next week. Don't get it.
This is like confusing. They already had like a confrontation tonight.
Yeah.
Why do they have to do it again?
Exactly.
Unless it's like a sit-down interview or something, which...
No, it would say, interview or whatever, but oops. So yeah, I'm confused on what this is. I have no clue. So Renee Paquette's in the back with Britt Baker, asking her reaction to Taya Valkyrie's comments on Collision. Baker thanked Valkyrie and said that she's excited for their first ever meeting, but will drag Valkyrie to the deep end and remind everyone that TBS is the Brit show. Cool. So then we had Pac versus Gravity. And boy, has everyone been making this joke. Because if you remember when he was in WWE as Neville, he was Neville, the man that Gravity forgot because of his broken arrow and his flip and how he can like get super big hang time and all that. So they've been making the joke all week, whether that is random people on Twitter or even people in AEW, where they're like, oh, Pac's going to face, well, someone that finally remembered him, Gravity. But
the wrestling world has literally like memed this match so hard.
yeah. Also, it was
literally the only reason why they did this match is for just like kind of like poke fun at WWE. That's the only reason.
No,
why they made
I don't know about that. I can see where you're coming from, but I don't think it's that. I did like, though, when Gravity was coming out and Taz started singing John Mayer, Gravity, Gravity. I thought that was funny. Freaking, we need more Taz trying to sing when he can't sing. Ruby, 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 so ho. Anyways. During his entrance, Gravity acted like he was walking on the moon. Pac brilliantly tried to reintroduce himself to Gravity as he was previously known as the man that Gravity forgot. Taz, meanwhile, shoehorned in, like I said, some John Mayer. And then Gravity used his speed to send Pac to the floor early on and tried to play some mind games, only to eat a drop kick through the ropes by Pac, who stayed in control the entire picture-in-picture break. Back from the commercial, we saw the Blackpool Combat Club watching from the locker room. Gravity fought out of the corner with a leaping crossbody, but Pac responded with a series of kicks. Both men went to the top, and Pac countered with an avalanche brainbuster and quickly got the submission victory with the brutalizer. So there we go. Not a long match at all. Not really much to the match. Pac picks up the win. What'd you think?
It's just an okay match. It was literally just trying to make Pac look strong against, like, I want to say Blackpool Combat Club, because they keep teasing that they're going to Pac face one of those guys again.
Right. Honestly, I thought Gravity's match at Death Before Dishonor with Commander was a better match. I'm going to say it right now. I thought it was better. Maybe only because it got more time, and that's why I think that. But, yeah. We then see some post-match comments from Renee Paquette with the Blind Eliminator Tournament winners MJF and Adam Cole. So, I guess because they're working Collision, they gave them the night off. And so, these two and FTR filmed their stuff last week because they had like the blood and guts graphics and everything on the screens behind them. So that's kind of weird that they didn't even just throw different I don't know. Make it seem like it's this week and throw different graphics on the screen. It takes a whole minute to click a button and change the graphics. It's not that hard. Trust me, I've done it. I've worked with screens like that. It's not that hard to change the graphics and then make it all seem like they're there this week. But they're not. They weren't. Whatever. MJF.
They literally act like wrestling fans are like so stupid that they won't even recognize it.
Well, they at least put on the bottom of the screen for this and the FTR segment last Wednesday. They did put that last Wednesday to tell us, hey, this was filmed last Wednesday. But why do that when you could have just, made us think they were there tonight? Put the regular graphics on the screen for a whole 5 minutes or so. Like it did. I don't know. Anyways, Cole was about to start the promo when MJF cut him off and trash talked both members of FTR, mocking Dax Harwood, constantly cutting the same promos, and MJF saying that MJF will punch him so hard that is in the face that he'll spit out CM Punk's jockstrap. The only initials that matter aren't FTR, it's MJF. Cole said never in a million years did he expect to be friends with Max, and said that he has nothing to worry about when touching the AEW World title post-match like he did last week. Cole said that MJF is becoming one of his best friends, and MJF said, win, lose, or draw, he wants Cole to know that he's getting a rematch for the world title. So basically he said it right there. Hey, I'll give you a shot at this title again. Roderick Strong then stormed in and shoved MJF, saying that Cole, you shouldn't trust him. Cole told MJF to leave, as he said that he loves Strong, but he's pushing Cole away because he's showing that, well, maybe Strong doesn't fully trust Cole, trying to tell him what to do and who to trust. So really, it's just further building up that MJF's going to turn on him. Roddy's going to be right, and then maybe we get Roddy versus MJF before MJF and Cole for the title. I don't know. Any thoughts on this?
Going to happen. I think MJF and Adam Cole lose to FTR, and Adam Cole is like, "Well, you still owe me a shot. Remember, you said you were going to give me a title shot." And MJF's going to be like, "I don't remember that."
I could see that.
He's either going to act like I don't remember that, or like, never mind, I'm not going to give you the title shot.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably going to go the route of, "Oh, if you want to face me, you're going to have to go through all these guys," like MJF always does in the past.
Maybe, but there's not enough time for that. I mean, yeah, there's 4 weeks. But I don't know.
They like Dynamite and Collision.
True. But how often do MJF and Cole work Collision is the question.
MJF's this will be his second one, I believe.
Yes. And, well, yeah. The other one was a pre-taped Collision, too, on a Thursday. So this is his first actual Saturday. Then we got comments from last week from FTR with Renee, as Wheeler said that he's excited about Collision on Saturday, but feels bad Adam Cole was being dragged into this. And hold on. First off. So now that I'm thinking about this, these comments are from last week, and they tell us they're from last week, but or am I thinking, no, wasn't FTR on the show last week with Shivani giving comments? Or am I thinking of something else?
I don't remember.
Hold on.
They might have been. I'll have to look back at that.
I'm looking back really fast. Hold on. Because I know, so it may have been Collision 2 collisions ago, not this past Saturday. No, because, hold on. Because here's my thing. Let me look at something really fast, because now all of this may just not make any sense at all. And now they're just really making us feel dumb. But give me 1 second here. Nope, wrong thing. Go back to my Collision and Dynamite notes from last week. Boom. Collision. Because I remember they were in the ring. It may have been Collision. Yes, FTR had a promo on Collision. So, if these quotes and comments are from last Wednesday, why do we need to hear stuff they said last Wednesday when we already heard from them Saturday? Which was technically, in all actuality, after these were, I don't know, they're playing us dumb. Like, they said stuff on Saturday, so why go back even farther in time to give us more quotes? It makes no sense. I'll just read what they said, though. Wheeler said he's excited about Collision on Saturday, but he feels bad Adam Cole has been dragged into this. They respect Cole, but they hate MJF, calling him a generational ass kisser. Everyone who has been with MJF, including his fiance, once they got to know him, leave him. Harwood said that he won't get gimmicked up like MJF, since this is real to him. At Collision, MJF won't make a mockery of professional wrestling, and he'll beat the shit out of Max on Saturday. Harwood apologized to Cole, but said that you're going to get a beating on Collision. Yeah, I remember on Collision when Dax cut that promo where he was like, yeah, they don't take things seriously. They got their skits. They got their dance breaks. So I don't know why we needed this again from them when they just spoke Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like 4 days ago. But what did you think of Adam Cole and MJF and then the FTR comments?
I thought the MJF Adam Cole stuff was effective, and it was like very like building and like further like I'm looking for like it seemed like intense, maybe, I don't know, but like the whole FTR stuff, like I didn't really get that. I don't know why we had to hear that again. So
exactly, I didn't care for it because it's like we already heard him 4 days ago say the same basically thing. Can't trust MJF. We hate MJF, and we know because we were with him in the Pinnacle. Like, okay, cool.
Let me say this though, FTR leaving the Pinnacle, that was like the best thing for them.
Right.
first time with AEW, like a lot of people thought, like, all right, these guys will finally do better in WWE, but like, they, like paired them with the Pinnacle, and they were basically just guys with MJF.
Well, their first little run was good. They won the tag titles and stuff. And then, yeah, when they got added into the Pinnacle, it was kind of like, oh, they're extra guys. But now they're doing great stuff again. So, cool. I'm going to ask a question here, but I think I already know your answer. It's Swerve Strickland versus Darby Allin. And frickin' A, they're doing what I didn't want them to do. Nick Wayne is just Darby Allin's young boy. That's it. He's just Darby's young boy. I really wish that they wouldn't have done something. They wouldn't have done this and just... It's fine to pair him with Darby, but they're really just making it like, oh, he follows Darby around and does whatever Darby does. And I know you feel the same way. I saw your tweet earlier.
It's literally just like a little kid that follows Darby around, or he's just like the little kid that's like Darby's like my mentor and stuff. Which is, I guess, fine though. When you're saying like Darby's my mentor, he taught me a lot and stuff. Like, basically just like making this guy like just he follows Darby around, which is so annoying.
Right. And I mean, it's coming off of like, ooh, Darby was the cool guy when I was a kid, so I want to just hang around with Darby and this and that. But no, I really wish that they would just make Nick Wayne his own guy. And granted, it does look like the story is leading to Swerve Strickland and AR Fox versus Darby and Nick Wayne. So maybe once this is all done, then they can break Nick Wayne off. He can go do his own thing and go from there. So maybe we're just prematurely getting mad for nothing. Match itself was good.
Yeah, I would at least give it some time, though.
Match itself was good. And boy, did that Death Valley driver on the apron spot scare the shit out of me. Oh my God, was that a scary looking spot.
Oh, yeah.
So as far as the match does go, after an early back and forth, we nearly saw an identical ending to the Royal Rampage on Friday with Allin on the apron this time, with Strickland diving to the outside, only to eat a code red as a result. Allin chucked Strickland into the steps, repositioned them, but Strickland reversed a whip. Allin then cleared the steps as Strickland launched off the steps with a massive house call kick. I wrote that backwards. Strickland then controlled the entire break, working over Allin's wrist and taunting Nick Wayne at ringside. Strickland then connected with a roll-through flatliner and a huge suplex before both men traded a series of roll-ups, ending with Strickland kicking out of the Last Supper. Strickland then rolled to the apron, and Allin speared him through the ropes and landed right on his head on the outside in the process. Back inside the ring, Strickland rolled out to the floor again, and this time caught a charging Allin with a knee lift in midair. Back inside the ring, Strickland hit a swerve stomp, but Allin kicked out. Both men then went to the top rope, and Allin managed an avalanche over-the-top stunner, sending Strickland to the apron. Allin wanted to go for the coffin drop, but Strickland pulled out the feet and hit an unreal, scary-looking Death Valley driver off the second rope on the edge of the ring on the apron. Boy, Darby ain't going to be doing this for much longer if he keeps taking moves like this. Darby's going to wreck his body. Referee was distracted at one point by Prince Nana and Nick Wayne running around the ring as Allin was about to roll back into the ring. A hooded man that we obviously knew who it was, AR Fox, attacks and throws him back in the ring. Strickland then connects with the JML driver to get the pinfall victory. Afterwards, AR Fox reveals that it's him, even though it's very obvious it was him. They attack Nick Wayne and Darby Allin post-match. They then give him a embassy shirt. Not even Mogul Embassy. It's just the Embassy. And there we go. AR Fox is now a member of the Mogul Embassy. And it does look like it's leading to Strickland and Fox against Allin and Wayne. What did you think of the match and the post-match?
Match was fun. And like at the beginning of the show when like AR Fox like basically turned heel on Orange Cassidy, and then they had John Moxley attack Orange Cassidy. It almost made me feel like AR Fox is going to join Blackpool Combat Club, but then later on he joins Mogul Embassy.
Nah,
and
go for it.
Like, I don't know really how I feel about AR Fox joining Mogul Embassy. Like, they really act like they're New Japan, where everybody has to be in a faction.
Yeah, and I'll tell you how I feel. I don't care either way. because they just do that too much of people got to be in groups. You ain't New Japan. Like New Japan does it. Cool. Don't copy New Japan with that. Do your own thing. Not everybody has to be affiliated with somebody else. And I get it. There's a lot of people that aren't, but there's a lot of groups in AEW. Also, is Big Bill now part of the embassy? Because when they were showing stuff for that Rampage Tag Team Battle Royal, they had Big Bill and Brian Cage there, but Prince Nana was standing with them too. So is Big Bill also part of the embassy? They didn't say it, but him and Cage are teaming, and they got Prince Nana there.
Maybe. I mean, like him and Lee Moriarty, I guess, are no longer a thing. So,
Well, yeah, the firm is done, dead, Kaputski. The firm's gone.
it's like
There's no firm.
maybe from their standpoint, they're probably like, well, we need to put Big Bill somewhere, so let's just throw him in the embassy.
Well, I think because they randomly did, like him and Brian Cage being paired together for the blind tournament was random, but fans loved it so much they're like, oh, we need to keep these two together. Renee Paquette's backstage with Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, Anna Jay, and a very pregnant Ty Conti. They're waiting for Chris Jericho, so they want to confront him about next week. They walk into the dressing room together, and there's the painting that Dom gave him already hung up. Jericho said, forget about that, and asked, hey, how's the baby doing? She said, the baby's fine. But what's going on with you, Chris? Angelo Parker was about to give his comb to give back his comb to Jericho, but then said, not quite yet. Anna Jay then said that Jericho is being selfish and said, like, Hager, we can't give you 100% right now. Everybody but Menard left, who told Jericho, figure things out and fast. So, yeah. We're slowly building to the implosion and the what's the word I'm looking for? The breakup of the JAS. And I do like this. I like the way they're doing it. And it's not just all, we're done with you. No, it's, we care about you. We want to be with you. We want this group to last. But if you can't be there for us, why should we be there for you? So now we're going to see where this leads to. So I like that they didn't like quickly break them up or do any of that. It's like, no, we all care about each other. But we can't give you 100% if you can't give us 100%. What do you think of this?
I thought this was like very effective, and so I'm glad they're like this way, compared to like, oh, we're done with you, or like we've seen like some groups in the past where they just like completely just like up in just one night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm really glad they're doing it this way.
Yeah. So like it's like it's basically like a family. Yes, our dad in Jericho is not, doing what he needs to do for the family, but the family's not going to fully turn on him. We're going to hope that daddy comes back, but if he doesn't, then of course we can't be loyal to dad if he's not loyal to us and this and that. So that's basically what it is. And I like it. I actually do. Next up, we did have a Britt Baker versus Taya Valkyrie. Some of this is good. Some of this wasn't good. It was just there. It was okay. And then the finish just comes out of nowhere. Baker worked early on with a headlock, but Valkyrie used her power to gain control with a running corner knee. With the wrist taped, Valkyrie ripped off stiff chops and a short arm lariat, but Baker tried to go for the midsection only to sort of fall to a Road to Valhalla. It was kind of a weird transition. The crowd booed because they weren't liking this. And the whole spot looked very clunky. At one point, Baker didn't get up enough. So Valkyrie just mounted and dished out some strikes. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? These two did not seem on the same page. When they returned from a break, the crowd was still booing as Valkyrie was trapped in a Baker cravat and ate a knee strike. Valkyrie then was sent into the corner, stumbled out, and Baker hit a ripcord strike, only for Valkyrie to kick out at one. A forearm battle commenced as both ladies traded kicks, and Valkyrie just dove for a lariat. Baker wanted to go for the Panama Sunrise, but Valkyrie countered into a Northern Lights, but Baker then got in control, tried again, and got the Panama Sunrise for a 2. Baker took too long putting on her glove, and Valkyrie hit her with a spear. Wanted to go for the Road to Valhalla, but Baker then spun out of it, got the lockjaw on, and then all of a sudden it was just over. She gets the lockjaw on, and Taya just immediately taps out and is done. And I'm like, what the, huh? It's over? That's it? Those wasn't the best of matches at all. And also, I don't know if you saw or noticed, I don't know how you couldn't. As soon as the match ended, the cameras focused right on this sign in the crowd that said, "Book the women's division better."
I definitely saw that sign.
Yeah. What'd you think of the match?
Match was just okay. We've seen better matches, and I'm feeling that they're gonna put Taya with the Outcast because she did kind of tease on Collision that might be joining the Outcast.
I can see that. But I mean, as of right now, Britt's all by herself. I mean, Jamie Hayter hasn't been seen since Double or Nothing. She hasn't even been backstage since Double or Nothing.
On the YouTube chat kept asking, is there any update on Jamie Hayter?
Nope. Nothing other than she hasn't been backstage.
Like, Nightingale, she's doing her own thing as well. So, Britt's just all on her own.
So as we move forward, we got our main event. It's a triple threat tag team match. It's the Blackpool Combat Club's Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, the best friends Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, and the Lucha Bros, Rey Fenix, or as Justin Roberts says, Rey Fenix, and Penta El Cero Miedo. Jam-packed, crazy main event match where my notes may not be all that great for the start of this match because they were all just going at it, and it was one of those kind of hard to keep up kind of things. The Lucha Bros and the best friends started fighting before the BCC even got to the ring as the brawl was on. Taylor and Moxley brawled up the ramp before everyone else joined in on the floor, and Taylor hit a somersault dive off the stage onto the pile of people. Back in the ring, Phoenix and Claudio had a nice exchange when Phoenix did a massive springboard arm drag only to eat a sexy Chucky knee from Beretta. Moxley then jumped in with a cutter, and Claudio cleaned house with a bunch of uppercuts. Phoenix then fell back into a tag from Beretta, who tackled Phoenix for revenge, and then whacked him in the face for whacking him in the face with a chair at Death Before Dishonor last Friday. Beretta then missed a knee on Claudio, but did the Saito suplex before trying a dive, only to eat an uppercut. And there we go. Moxley then tagged in and destroyed Trent with a King Kong lariat as we go to commercial break. Beretta fought out of the corner with a missile dropkick on Claudio, tagging in Chuck Taylor, who dropped Moxley with some soul food. Moxley then tried turning the tables, but ate a jumping knee and a German suplex by Taylor. Penta made the blind tag on Moxley and fired off with some sling blades and a backstabber on Taylor. All six men then started slugging it out in the middle of the ring until best friends just decided to hug and give the people what they wanted. Moxley and Claudio then were sent to the outside, and the Lucha Bros were planted with dueling pile drivers by the best friends. Lucha Bros then gained control with super kicks and submission attempts as Penta snapped back on the arm of Beretta before hitting a Meteora. Or no, a Maiden Penta. I wrote that wrong. Claudio and Moxley then broke things up, beating down the best friends with anvil elbows, stomps, and a powerbomb by Claudio to Taylor. Claudio then wanted a Ricola bomb, but Orange Cassidy's music would hit, and everyone kind of just froze. Orange started walking down the ramp. Wheeler Yuta ran after him. Orange Cassidy knocks him out. Cassidy then slugged it out with Moxley on the ramp as Beretta dropped Claudio with a crunchy. But was told Claudio's not the legal man, so you can't pin him. Lucha Bros then jumped in, laid out Trent, hit him with the Fear Factor, and Penta picked up the victory. Lucha Bros get the win. Before we get to the post-match and stuff, and the match announced for next week, what did you think of the match itself?
I mean, it was decent. Like, it was a good match. I'm not going to say it was a great match, but it was a good match.
A lot of run-ins and outside interference on this show. I will say that.
Absolutely.
A lot of brawling. Post-match.
Like, they really focused too much on, like, outside brawling and, like, the stuff after the match to, like, the match itself.
Right, because, like, in the opening match, that match with AR Fox and Orange Cassidy, good match. Match didn't even matter. Match didn't matter. It was all about the post-match with Darby and AR Fox and then Moxley and Orange Cassidy. Like, We didn't even need the match. We just needed the post-match. That's what counts. That's what matters. Then we had the run-in and all that in the Darby Swerve match. Then we had it again with this match with Orange Cassidy coming out and then the brawling afterwards. So it's like, The post-match commentary talked about how the BCC are unfamiliar with losing multiple matches in a row. They lost last week in Blood and Guts. Now they lost this week. And then Best Friends and Orange Cassidy kept brawling with the BCC. Basically, they were all jumping on Moxley, and then Claudio and Yuta came and broke things up and whatnot, where the Lucha Bros then kind of made Moxley back off a little as he bailed. Everyone was... A lot of stuff going on. I couldn't really keep up with it. And then all of a sudden, we kind of hear Excalibur going, I'm getting word from Tony Khan. A big match is being made next week for Dynamite, episode 200. It is an anything goes three-way match where we will see Jon Moxley, Trent Beretta, and Penta El Zero Miedo. So yeah, a triple threat match. Anything goes, no rules. Next week on Dynamite. Speaking of next week and the next couple of shows, of course, Rampage this Friday does go. Hikaru Shida will be taking on Nyla Rose in a tag team battle royal to figure out who may be the next contenders for the tag team championships. It's Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh, Big Bill and Brian Cage, Ethan Page and Brother Zay, the Hardy Boys, Butcher and the Blade, Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, Luther and Serpentico, Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. Winner will receive an AEW tag team title shot. Also on Rampage, Scorpio Sky will be going one-on-one with Kip Sabian, and The Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett will be in action. Of course, Collision does go this Saturday. The AEW World Tag Team Championships will be on the line when FTR defending against the AEW World Champion MGF and Adam Cole. In a ladder match for his mask, Andrade El Idolo, because no one can say that name, Andrade El Idolo will be taking on Buddy Matthews. And also in six-man trios action, El Hijo del Vikingo will team up with Axel Andretti and Darius Martin to take on Juice Robinson and the Guns. Next week on Dynamite, episode 200, Jack Perry will go face-to-face with Jerry Lynn. Chris Jericho will team with Kenosuke Takeshita against Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. And in an anything goes three-way, it's Jon Moxley, Trent Beretta, and Penta El Zero Miedo. With that, you got any closing thoughts on Dynamite?
I don't believe so, no.
Let's refresh the polls, because you know what we thought of the show. We thought we over this way. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought. So let's refresh all these polls really fast and gauge the audience, I guess you can say. Also, before we do that, the show is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Loot. So we'll talk about that while I refresh everything. This podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Loot. For the fan in all of us. Pro Wrestling Loot is a curated box of pro wrestling merchandise sent to you every single month at one low cost. Each month, you're going to get a t-shirt, autographs, posters, art, and collectibles. This past month, they sent us the CMLL Welterweight Championship. For our listeners right here, use code PW Unlimited at checkout and you will get 20% off your next purchase. Again, head over to ProWrestlingLoot.com and use code PWU NLIMITED at checkout to get 20% off your next order. So with that, as far as the polls do go, Twitch poll, 100% liked the show. Good to see. As far as the Twitter poll does go, or the X poll, whatever we're calling these now, 44% liked the show. 36% thought it was just all right, and 19% did not like it. I think that's the closest I liked it, and it was just all right we've seen in a very long time on any of these polls, but specifically Dynamite. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, 60% liked the show, 27% thought it was just all right, and 13% did not like it. Some of the comments, 7 out of 10, where it says, we got a pay-per-view coming, and still no matches set. Yeah, I know. Where it says, Hardys take the titles from FTR, calling it now. Good matches, no story, very unimportant show. I could see where you can think that. And this person says it was a very sloppy episode. There was some sloppy stuff, I will say for sure. As far as the YouTube live poll does go, 63% liked the show, 21% thought it was just all right, and 14% did not like it. But with that, that's going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, App Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. But Luke, tell them where they can find you.
Find me over at Twitter at Petke_21. And you can also find me over at Twitch at TheLukePetke.
With that, guys, have a great rest of your week. I'll be back Friday morning for the wrestling wrap-up, and then Friday evening for Friday Night SmackDown. With that, have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.